and just when you thought you didn't know jack shit. You've tuned in to the rants, raves, and realities of the Jack Shit Show. Starring Rick, the Vanilla Gorilla. And Ranting Ralph. And now, here's Rick and Ralph, I think.
Welcome to the Jack Shit Show. I am your host, the Vanilla Gorilla. See what I did there? And if you were wondering about the smile on this face that I can't erase, or this glow about me, don't worry, I'm not pregnant. And I will not be chest feeding anytime soon. See how PC I was there too. The Grinch-like Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland look on my face that resembles that of Wormser in Revenge of the Nerds 2 is because my Michigan Wolverines have exorcised the demons.
Doesn't get any better than this in college football. On the line, the Big Ten East Championship. On the line, a trip to Indianapolis and the Big Ten Championship title game, and possibly a shot in the national semifinals for the college football playoff.
I don't care about any of that. I just want to beat Ohio State.
Tons of confidence now. Let's roll. Let's have fun out this bitch, man. All energy. Let's make some play. Let's get it. So 6, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6. Hey, man, we say we're the best. I'll be the best. Yes, sir. Show them right here, right now. Let's go. Win a game on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Finally now is time to play the game. And I think
OSU wins the toss, and like we told you in the previous episode, I thought taking the ball for either team would be critical in this game, and we weren't wrong. OSU deferred, and the Michigan Wolverines laid the groundwork for a blueprint of things to come as Haskins and Josh Geddes played catch me if you can.
And I think this is the most important aspect of this game. The Michigan offense has to make every possession count. That's how you make a possession count. We can't run against the Buckeyes.
Haskins breaks it to the 20, fights his way to the 15-yard line and down inside to the 14. Haskins has a first down. Here's a quick reverse, and it's got room at the 10-yard line. Down inside. Yes! Touchdown, Michigan!
Make every drive count.
After a field goal on a stalled drive and a bad decision by McNamara in the red zone, one of his few mistakes, the Buckeyes showed the explosive playmaking offense we have seen all season, and Garrett Wilson displayed his skills to put the Buckeyes up 10-7.
Take it down to the 25 of the Wolverines. This is something to behold, this offensive team of theirs. They do it all. Got it near the pylon. Wilson comes down with the ball. Touchdown, Garrett Wilson.
But Michigan, with one of the biggest drives of the game, responds to go into the locker room with a much important lead at halftime, 14-13.
The pressure really falls on the shoulders of the Michigan offense. They have got to reassert themselves.
It's caught! Has it at the 2-yard line! It's Cornelius Johnson with the catch and a fly around. The Wolverines are inside the 5-yard line. Haskins gets it in. He died! He's in! Hassan Haskins! Touchdown, Michigan!
In this rivalry, one of the most amazing stats that I found is the average spread under Harbaugh in this losing streak has only been 2.5 points at halftime. Can you believe that number? Meaning all these games have been tight going into half. In the rivalry and the hatred, coaching adjustments seem to have been made much better by the team in scarlet and gray, but not so fast this time. Coming out of the locker room, Day and his staff went away from the passing game in a very big surprise in the first possession of the half that resulted in 3 straight running plays and a 3-and-out. And boy, did Michigan capitalize, bringing in their home run hitter who has been hurt but was ready for his moment.
Blake Corum will get the call at running back to open the second half. They give it to Corum. He's over the left side. He breaks it. He's in midfield. He's in the open at the 30, the 20, chased down from behind inside the 15-yard line of Ohio State. Haskins into the ball game now. McNamara in the gun. They give it to Haskins. He's around right end. There's room. He's at the 10. Breaks it at the 5. Fights his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan. Hassan Haskins.
Michigan now led 21-13 and could smell some blood in the water. And their top shark certainly didn't disappoint.
Down and 8. Stroud now looks, points at a defender. Now back to throw. Pressure coming from Ojabo. Pressure coming. Here it comes, and sack time. Aiden Hutchinson drops Stroud at the 39-yard line.
In the game of football, ebbs and flows and riding the energy are all part of the game that historically Michigan coaches seem to not today. Gaddis, feeling the stadium in the moment, caught the Buckeyes loading the box for the run, and my sleeping MVP didn't disappoint in arguably the biggest single play of the game.
Michigan 1st and 10 from the Ohio State 41. They go flea flicker. They look down the sideline, wide open receiver at the 15. He breaks it inside the 10. The Wolverines, a little trickery, and they're inside the 10-yard line of the Buckeyes. 1st and goal. They turn, they give it to Haskins. He's going to go around left end. He's going to score! Hassan Haskins, his 3rd touchdown of the day.
Michigan had built a 2-score game, now leading 28-13 and dominating the 3rd quarter. And the man who came back for one reason showed us why I call him Amazing Blue Bosa brother.
To a Michigan team that smells blood right now.
Back to throw. Pressure. Here comes a sack time. Aiden Hutchinson again.
This guy is so NFL ready.
When you have had the success that Ohio State has enjoyed over the last decade, you do not go gentle into the night. You rage, rage, rage against the dying of the light, and you have 5-star athletes who make plays like this.
Stroud back to pass again, sets up at his 44. Pressure coming. Stroud running right side to the 50. Fires down the right sideline, and it's caught somehow by Smith and Jigba. How did he catch that ball? Stroud under center, gets the snap. Hands Henderson shooting left side to the goal line. Nope. Down. Touchdown.
The stadium gets deathly silent and tenses up when OSU creeps to within 1 score. But every punch that Ohio State threw in this game was met with a counterpunch that kept saying, "Not this time." And sitting on the ball and hoping to run the clock is not an option.
Cannot just think we're going to run out the clock and hold on to a lead.
American quarterback Haskins is to his right. Haskins in the gun. Gives it to Haskins. Haskins, left guard. Touchdown, Michigan.
As all Wolverine and Buckeye fans know, a hero always emerges in this game. And on this day, a linebacker turned running back said, "This day is mine," and an all-time instant classic highlight to boot.
The Wolverines looking to close this out. They give it to Hassan. Hassan breaks it. He's at the 20, the 10, leaps over a man inside the 5 to the 4-yard line. McNamara gets the snap, gives it to Haskins. Haskins scores untouched. Just take this team on your back.
The Buckeyes, down to their last shot, just didn't have enough to overcome the destiny that was meant to be on this day, on this field, and in this big house.
This is the football game right here. 4th down and long. Back to throw. Ojabo gets back there, forces Stroud out. Throw the ball down. That's caught, but it's short of the 1st down. That's it. It's caught by Olave, but it's 5 yards short of the 1st down. Ladies and gentlemen, Wolverine Nation, the long drought is over. Ohio State is vanquished. 42-27 is the score.
For a rivalry and the game to come back to where it belongs, you need alumni, former players, and icons to have it mean something to them. When you see these players, these fans, and grown men cry saying this shit means something, you know you have something again. And when I watched as my 15-year-old son stormed that field with his Michigan brethren, you're damn right I felt like Rudy's dad, and the pride of being a Wolverine brought me to tears. This was his moment as a 15-year-old Michigan fan in Columbus, Ohio, and I knew it was his for a year to own it proudly. After all of this, if I gave you these stats, who would you say won? Total time of possession, which I said was absolutely critical. Ohio State, 31 minutes, 48 seconds. Michigan, 28 minutes, 12 seconds. What if I told you that CJ Stroud had a Heisman performance, going 34 of 49, 349, and 2 touchdowns, no picks, no turnovers? What if I told you McNamara only went 14 to 20 for 190 and threw a pick and no touchdowns? Ohio State, 0 turnovers in the game. Michigan, 1 critical one inside the red zone. What if I told you that? Who won? Sometimes stats can be very misleading, as my co-host Ralph always says. He doesn't like stats a lot. But in football, sometimes they don't lie, just can be misleading. Now, if I read you these stats, who won this game? Passing, OSU, 8 yards per completion. Michigan, 9.5 per completion. Rushing yards, Michigan, 297 yards rushing. OSU, 64. Michigan, 7.2 yards a touch. OSU, 2.1. Sacks, Michigan, 4. OSU, 0. Hurries, Michigan 4, OSU 2. Pass deflections, Michigan 5, OSU 2. And the most important stat to me on how you define who won the trenches, tackles for loss in this game, Michigan 8, OSU 0. When you are playing above the chains every down, you're going to have success when you're a running team. Now, the stat of the game also to me, it was also one of my keys, red zone attempts. How were both teams going to do in the red zone? OSU, 5 times in the red zone. Big sacks by Hutchinson inside the red zone. They get 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals. You ready for this stat? One of the worst teams in the red zone all this year had 7 attempts in the red zone. Bad play by McNamara, the only time they were stopped. 6 touchdowns out of 7 trips. Final score, Michigan 42, Ohio State 27. Now, before I bring in my co-host for the day to go ahead and recap it, I think you guys remember him. Let's go ahead and take a quick commercial.
Hickham's Gym is a consultant in nutrition and strength and conditioning. What sets Hickham's Gym apart from other personal training companies is we are sports and work specific. We concentrate on what will make the individual succeed in their fitness goals. Hickham's Gym has over 30 years experience and several philosophies in building the human body to be flexible, bigger, faster, stronger. We also work with bodybuilding and fitness competitors. Get in touch with Chad Hickam at www.hickhamsgym.com or call 573-480-0808. Let Hickham's Gym be your next move to get you into shape. Hickham's Gym, we build champions.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure again to bring in the man from out in Missouri. We need to give him a nickname. Maybe I'll just call him Chad Magnum 44 or 44 Mag Hickam. I think that's a good one. I like that one. So Chad, you know me, I'm not going to rub it in, Dolgorm. as a Gaelic Irishman you are. I wore
Yes,
this
you
in
know.
your honor. Go blue. I'll send you this. Sure, you can wear this one if you want. Anyways, so what'd you think, man? I mean, I know what I saw. I know what you saw. So go ahead. Give me a quick recap of what you saw, man.
What I saw was a complete domination, and it really was. It was the traditional historic thing of where they had a great week before in Ohio, and I'm speaking in Ohio State, and they had a great week before Michigan State, and then they came into Michigan and just laid a dud. I mean, they were outplayed. I said it last week. The complacency on the front line was going to kill them. It did. The DBs absolutely killed. I mean, it looked like men playing against little boys out there. I'm not going to lie. I can't lie about it. You saw it. Everybody saw it.
Right.
And another thing that I saw that really kind of, and I don't know what Day is going to do next year or even for the rest of this year, but they need a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
That threat of just sitting in the pocket is not going to do in the 10. Anybody will tell you that. You need a mobile quarterback. And I remember, back when I was at Ohio State, it was a dual quarterback system. You had Stanley Jackson, who was the notable runner, and Joe Germain, who was the accurate, deadly passer.
You got it. Yep.
But the biggest thing, the biggest thing I saw was how Michigan came out. And even though, and it's like you said, those stats, you would never have thought Michigan won except for one stat that stands out, and that is rushing the ball. I don't care what anybody says in that game. If you establish the ground attack, then you can have your way with the other team. Been proven time and time again in history in that rivalry.
Last 10 games, they said whoever won the rushing war won the game, period. It's that simple. If you're a passing team, it opens everything up. I mean, literally look at that game when Michigan did throw. I read you the numbers. They didn't throw a lot. When they did, it was first down when they were loading the box. Yep. They ran a couple gadget plays. It was phenomenal. So, real quick, let me looks like we're getting a question from a Cleveland, Ohio, Freddie. He's asking us real quick what we thought the play of the game was. And I had a couple. I had two that I had in mind the entire time. One honestly was that flea flicker. When they loaded the box, they came off of a 3-and-out. They dominated the third quarter because Day decided to outthink himself. That was all that was. You guys wonder why he ran 3 times? Because they're thinking we're sitting past the entire time. That's what they're doing. They outthought themselves. It's a chess game, and he guessed wrong, and the adjustments weren't made. I would have been bringing a tight end over to double Hutchinson the entire game, but that's not how you guys run. I mean, it's just not. So it's a chess game. So the biggest play to me in that game was the flea flicker that actually ended up to the guy I talked about, Sanistril, that got him down to within the 10, and that's when they punched it in. You go 3-and-out, and then you score immediately right behind it, only up 1. You should have heard the plays. It's a momentum changer.
I'm going to go one before that. I'm going to go to the beginning of the game. That end around, it was like, here's the only thing I can, that, when you're in a boxing match and somebody hits you with that first blow, that just, I'm going to do whatever I can to you, and there's nothing you can do to stop me.
Yep.
That's what that was, literally, when you think about it, because if you watch Ohio State after that whole time, it was catch up. It was it just, I don't know.
And they were on their toes because they were shook because they had loaded the box again. That was Haskins on the first possession, just punching you right in the mouth. Oh shit, here comes an end around.
Yep.
It's I've been critical as hell of my coaches, still will be. I always will be. And I hate fans that go, "You're not a true fan." No, you're a true fan if you accept that shit and never question it. You're not a true fan, or you don't know the damn game. You should always question. Always.
But here's the thing that I question on a defensive front, and being a defensive lineman, why the hell did we not split out the defensive ends?
No idea.
You're running. And yes, I know Michigan's not. They used to be a traditional option team. But when they ran the in around, that should have told the defensive coordinator, oh crap, I better be prepared, split out the defensive ends so at least we can contain more.
Yeah, and keep them inside.
Blitzing.
They were afraid of the inside rush though, because Haskins was killing them between the tackles. And,
Well,
but
too. Here's the thing. Those linebackers, they were flat-footed.
Oh yes, big time.
They did. And
but still, what the common fan doesn't know, Chad, is Steel Chambers still trying to learn that position. Just like it took Haskins a year to learn running back. Exactly. They did the flip-flop, those two, literally. Mm-hmm. You know, Haskins goes from linebacker to running back. Chambers goes from running back to linebacker.
Absolutely.
So it's not that easy. You don't just say, hey, you're an athlete, here you go. This isn't the old Ziggy Ansah days at BYU. Just go attack the ball. You're an absolute stud.
You had to bring that up.
Yeah. Do you remember him? He's my favorite, to be honest with you. That dude got drafted, called his dad and said, I'm getting drafted in football. And he thought he was talking about soccer, that he was going to be a soccer star at 6'5", 260. The dude could buy his own villages after, he got drafted 8th by the Lions. Anyways, so real quick question, because me and you talked about this last week. Dave from Phoenix, Arizona said, if I remember, Ohio State deferred on the opening kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it. We said this is the only game you should take the ball because you want to do exactly what Michigan did.
Yeah.
Either get the crowd into it, which they did, or Ohio State should have gotten us out of it, which they didn't. They literally didn't. You could have established right off the rip.
I don't think they could, Rick. And I'll tell you the reason why that's the case. Because you know as well as I do, when you go into that stadium and the emotion, and knowing what's going on, and I don't care what anybody says, Harbaugh's job was on the line. Everybody was saying, no,
you're right.
It wasn't.
Yes, it was. Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. So here's the thing. You're playing with emotion. You're playing for your coach. You're playing for everything else. Not to mention, you've got athletic ability like that, like Haskins in the backfield.
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you. I think what a lot of people didn't talk about, which I don't know how you don't talk about this, you do understand that it was both quarterbacks' first OSU game and Michigan game because of COVID last year.
Yeah.
Stroud didn't play it. Well, neither did McNamara because he didn't get a shot at it either. So this was both their first. Who was going to handle it better? In my opinion, the crowd noise played such a deal in this game because I've been there many a times where it's the big mouse. We call it that because, you have grandma's knitting. They don't give a shit about the game because they expect complacency. Terrible stuff to happen. Not this time. 6 false starts. I would absolutely directly put on the crowd noise, including that very first one where he's trying to audible out, walking up to the center who snaps it right in his thigh, which they're lucky as hell they got that ball back.
Exactly.
Or that's a punch in from the 2. Yeah. So real quick, another question here. We got Joey from Miami, Florida. He gets the feeling that the coaching on Ohio State's side was not well prepared. Is that accurate or just outplayed? My opinion, Joey, they were outplayed where it matters the most, where people don't talk about it, but Chad and me know.
Mm-hmm.
Line of scrimmage was dominated. When you get 0 tackles for loss, that stat I put up earlier, you're a dead man walking against a good running team. You have got to get negative plays, deep downs, long distance, get them behind the schedule or the chains, as we call it, which is 3.5 yards of play is what you're trying to keep them under. Because if you average that out after 3, it's 10 yards. So that's why we call it staying ahead of schedule.
And the worst part about that is they didn't have any tackles for losses and stuff like that. I think that shows one thing. I think that shows that either A, there's still a lot of miscommunication in that Ohio State defensive coordination, from line all the way to the DBs. Let's face it.
Or like you said earlier, flat-footed.
They're
those linebackers.
Flat-footed. They can be flat-footed, Rick. And here's the thing: you either A, are up for this game, or B, you're not, and stay the hell off the field. That's
I agree with that. But that's what winning so many in a row breeds complacency. It does.
You're right. Absolutely.
It's like I'll throw the fucking jersey on the field and they should be scared of me.
Yeah. And and here was another thing that absolutely got me about the defense of Michigan. See, because in the last 5 years, I saw it building up. I saw this crescendo building up because your defenses in the last couple of years have been some really good defenses.
Yes.
The way you attack the ball, the way you drop back in coverage and still attack the ball. That's something I didn't see in this game from Ohio State. You have to drop back in coverage, but you still got to be able to go after that ball. They didn't I don't even think they blitzed 3 times the whole game.
Exactly. And they had some good recaps on some shows because they were showing the angles on these linebackers. They were getting washed. They were getting caught inside. They weren't attacking. They were reacting. And you cannot do that. Cannot do that. All right. Jimmy from Whittier, California. Do you really think that the fact that Harbaugh's job was on the line was a factor in the intensity of Michigan? Yes, I do. Yes, but you know what? I'm going to say something that'll piss off Michigan fans. I don't think that's what. Yes, they were playing for Jimmy. He's a great recruiter. They like the guy, but I think they were playing this more for Hutch. To be honest with you, that dude could have came out last year, been first round. He got hurt late in the season. He didn't have to come back. How many really come back for that? Because they want to beat Ohio State. You know how much money he's putting on the line if he gets hurt?
I know one other that did, and he was a Michigan guy. It's going to piss off some Ohio State guys I know. A little guy by the name of Brian Greasy.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Brian Greasy came back at 5th year, and they were – I still think they were the national champions that year.
Yep. And guess what's the common thread between those two? Where do they come from? Football families.
Yeah, football families.
They've seen it. They've seen the intensity. They know what these guys are. They want to win. They saw Daddy win. They want to win.
Absolutely.
It's ingrained in them, as we said on that last episode about Woody when he's talking about, would you say you want them to indoctrinate? Yeah. That was so funny. He goes, yeah. He goes, liberals don't like that word too much. Well, Woody, you're rolling in the grave now because they love that word right now.
I mean, I think they took a scene from that freaking show.
I think they did. Yeah. Yes. So, yeah, that's hilarious. But all right. So getting back to a few more stats I thought were, well, no, actually I want to go over your predictions from last week and see how we did. You had 3 last week. What was your first one? The key to the game?
Well, my key to the game was the whole DBs. The DBs had to show up. They obviously did not show up. Then my second one was complacency. The complacency of the offensive line. I knew that was going to be a problem. I knew it was going to be a problem because, number one, it's been that way all year. And you can put it down almost to one guy. It's 79. It's that right tackle.
Yeah, he had a bad game. He had I think he had 3 false starts and 2 sacks given up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to that. And, people look at me and are like, oh, it just can't come down to, one person. No, it can.
Sure.
Especially if they're a tackle. Because if that tackle doesn't get like somebody like Hutchinson coming off that end, you're in for one hell of a damn day.
You got that right.
I've seen it too many times.
And when you have a disruptor like that, you can't hide him because Ajabo's on the other side. They had 2 bookend. You can't hide a broken wheel. You have to chip with a tight end like me and you were talking about.
Yep. And then that takes away from somebody else or something else. You don't have another weapon.
Yeah, so, takes a route out of the play. Yeah.
Truthfully, I think the big thing is always going to be this, and it's one of these things. Now we're going to actually see how Ryan Day really is, and I'm just going to say that. And Buckeye fans, you may not like it, but now we're going to see what kind of coach Ryan Day is because he was playing with Urban's recruits.
Yep.
And now
nobody liked that comment. That's the truth, and you guys know it. Yeah. Now let's see what kind of recruiter he is. Let's see what kind of people he brings
to the store because not only you're fighting the urban recruit and you're fighting your own recruits, but now you've got something else you got to deal with. Michigan won. So you're dealing with your 5-star recruits. And I'm saying this, and I hope people are visually seeing my lips and everything move. Michigan has now earned a chance to steal Ohio recruits again.
Yep. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Wide open.
This is when it gets good right here. Because this is when it becomes a rivalry, not just on one game. That's what people don't get. Now it carries over to hockey games. it starts carrying over to basketball games. And you don't think so? My ass. Go to one of them and see what happens. I'm dead serious.
Yeah,
Michigan, Ohio State play next weekend here in hockey. Go to it. See if it doesn't carry over.
Make sure
see
you
if
bring
there
some
ain't
gear.
fights on that ice. And people, Michigan fans finally going, just like football, which you fuckers did for like 8 years. So that's what happens. I mean, it was so big to me that, and if you're watching this, OSU beat Duke last night in basketball. Huge upset. That was so important. And I don't think people get it. It was so important to take their minds off of it. True football fans are going to go, haven't forgot, but it took a little sting out.
It did, but it didn't. I mean, it didn't.
I tried. See, I tried there. I was trying to be nice.
I know.
So your underdog or your underdog MVP didn't even see the field. What the hell?
No, and that's another thing that made me absolutely mad. They were targeting the other, they were targeting running back, with Henderson, and they didn't even give Master T a chance.
Nope. And you needed to go back to a pounder a little bit there to just set a tone instead of trying to hit the home run every time, which is what they were trying.
Exactly. So
all right. Well, I'm going to go with see what I did. My keys last week, number one key was the time of possession. Now, I said it was going to be a big part of this game. Well, here's what happened. Again, it was misleading, but it turned out to be a great loss for U of M, and here's why. First downs, OSU 23, Michigan 24. Bigger number, OSU 8 of 18 on third downs, Michigan 5 of 8. Fourth downs, 3 of 4 for Ohio State, Michigan 1 for 1. Why am I bringing that up? Here's why. We were putting you guys in third down situations every single possession. You guys weren't. We were getting first downs on big plays on first and second. We weren't in pressure-packed third downs, hardly ever. That's huge. That's so big. That's why Ohio State beat us in time of possession, because defense was bending but not breaking, and they were making you, like I said, every possession count, every single one. And that's what they were putting you in. So it was a fail on my part, but not really because of the situation on how that happened. Secondly, my second one was the red zone thing. I already went over it earlier, guys. 7 times in the red zone, 6 touchdowns. We didn't have to kick 1 field goal, 1 bad read by McNamara, stupid read. But I loved the killer instinct by even making that play call because we were going for the jugular early. It was a first down play action. We had marched it right down the field on 2 throws, and they were just going for the jugular. So, but yeah, 6 of 7, and Ohio State, the 2 field goals instead of touchdowns. I mean,
exactly.
That's 8 points right there. I mean, it's 8 points. It's a big difference. And the last thing I had was that the no blitzing. Tell you what, they did exactly what I asked them to do. I said, don't blitz, rush 4, make your first round draft picks, show why they're first round draft picks, and drop 7.
Mm-hmm.
Hutchinson had 3 sacks. He became an instant classic hero for this game. Probably just made himself a shit ton of money in that game. Because now I'm putting him up there with Thibodeau as possibly the number 1 at this point. I mean, you can fight between those two. Now Hutch has better stats. So, and it's a Lions probably going to get the 1 pick. I don't know, Detroit. Who the fuck should you take? I know who I'd take if I'm trying to sell jerseys. And that's pretty much all you're doing, ownership, with the way you're playing. So, again, it was a hell of a game. It was a hell of an atmosphere. It sucks that, obviously that Ohio State lost. For you guys, it was awesome for me. The game MVPs I put down here, basically it was a split MVP for me. It was Aiden and it was Hassan Haskins. I mean, 28 carries, 169 yards, 5 touchdowns, new record for the game. Nobody's ever scored 5 in that game. That's phenomenal. So again, instant.
I have to say, I'd have to take Hayden over Haskins, though, big. And the reason why
would you?
I would, and the reason why is, number one, I'm biased. I'm a defensive guy.
Right. Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. No bias there. But no,
right.
I like how he never got ahead of himself. He never got emotional about a play. He literally was going play to play to play and playing with the same intensity. And it was the same. I mean, he knew exactly where he was going. He obviously read all the films because he knew the plays better than the freaking guys did.
Yep.
Now, as far as draft goes, I don't know. I'm still kind of wondering where the NFL is going to go this year. Usually they go, running backs or quarterbacks, or they'll go, defensive. This might be the year you see a defensive end taking number one.
I totally agree. Just because, and like I said, it depends obviously the team, but if it's where it is right now, to me, it's a no-brainer. They, like, projections had Thibodeau until this game. Now you've got to be putting him up there. I mean, if you're looking at Thibodeau and you're a Detroit Lion, I mean, think about it. Ownership, you don't lose with that pick. Just take him.
You know what I like about him, though? Even as big as he is, how agile he is side to side. And defensive end, and people don't realize this, with the defensive end, that is the most important key to a defensive end that you can have, is that side-to-side explosive speed. Because, you get out there and you're the guy that's going to shut it off, or you're the guy that's going to pin it up inside.
You got it.
Every time, if you noticed, he was always 2 steps ahead of Ohio State in getting out there and making sure that nothing got past him on that outside.
Making sure Henderson stayed inside. Yep. The edge setter. They're edge setters. Set the edge. Don't know how many times you can watch in high school these kids, these defensive ends that suck in, don't set the edge, and that play will bounce outside. Well, I can tell you right now that Oregon, Ohio State, you can watch it 100 times in that game. The defensive ends just didn't set edges in that game, but you're right, Chad. I mean, side to side for a defensive end, I'm telling you, the more and more you watch this kid, Buckeye fans, he's a Bosa brother. I swear to you. I mean, if you put in tapes of those two and watch him, it looks eerily familiar to me. The way they use the hands, the way they get low, their technique. I mean, scary. So, all right. Well, I had honorable mention written down here because this one's hard for me to even give credit because, yeah, they won, but they're still on my short leash. They better win a couple more games for me to get them out of the doghouse. The coaching staff for play calling in this game was phenomenal. Early downs for the kill shots when OSU started committing to stopping the run. Instead of being predictable, Michigan, they took their shots and they hit them. And that was impressive. So Gaddis earned it big today. Any Michigan fan out there, it's not just Gaddis calling those plays. We can sit there and lie all day and say it is him. When you watch Proform I, 1982 Jimmy Harbaugh football, let's run 3 times and punt, who's calling the game. So it was a great adjustment and great play calling. So with that being said, here we go. Michigan, Iowa for all the marbles, Big Ten championship on Saturday. Who you got? And what's the score, Chad?
If Michigan goes in and plays them with the same intensity and I hope they don't drop a dud. And guys, I like Michigan. I like Michigan, and I like them big on this one.
Yeah,
I like them big. I'm saying it's going to be 21 to 28 points is going to be the spread on this one.
Tell you what, that's not unreasonable, dude, because they were talking Vegas has it at 10.5 already. Mm-hmm. Iowa's offense is pathetic, but it scares me because, like you said, you called it on the Ohio State game. Did they ride that high too much right before our game? And they did. Now, are we just happy that we beat Ohio State? We're good now. Shouldn't be. You got a lot to play for right now. Mm-hmm. Right now you got Georgia, Michigan, Bama, Cincinnati as the top 4. In that setup, which it's not going to be because Bama and Georgia, they're going to eliminate one or the other. And if Bama somehow upsets Georgia, Michigan probably goes to 1. And then you're playing Cincinnati in the first round. So you have a ton to play for because, in my opinion, Georgia's good, but they're not the Alabamas of the past because their offense isn't that great, in my opinion. They play a very Big Ten style football game. They play a smash mouth. We're better than you. We're going to run it on you. We'll take our shots because we have better athletes on the outside. Their defense is good because their linebackers are good. The best in the nation.
Here's the big thing on that one. And I'm going to take it one step further. That game between Alabama and Georgia, one of them's going to be eliminated, obviously. And if they keep them in there, I'm going to be so pissed because that is ridiculous.
It's their dream scenario is for Alabama to beat Georgia and SEC gets 2 in again.
Yeah, but it goes back to last week when we talked about Ohio State, Michigan, when that one year they should have played each other in national champion. Yep. You know what I'm saying? That they got to eliminate one of them's it's going to be a 2-loss team, or you're going to have a 1-loss team.
Yep.
Bama's got to go. I'm sorry.
I agree with you.
Georgia has the making to do it. They're stacked tight. They are a well-sound team, and they're going to go after it. I mean, Kirby's got them ready to rock and roll.
Yep. Defenses win titles. We talked about that. We grew up on that.
So the big thing, and here's my sleeper on this one out of that whole crew, is Cincinnati.
Got a Fickle love.
Well, he's good. He's from our school.
I grew up with Luke, and I played travel ball with Luke. I've been rooting and politicking for that kid ever since he got screwed by you guys. That's the only time I rooted for Ohio State every game.
Yes.
Because I was like, you guys are throwing him under the bus here. He's good. You know what? With that Notre Dame job opening up, look out, folks. Because guess who he turned down to stay with Ohio State? Because he was loving Tressel. Defense coordinator job at Notre Dame was offered to him. He passed. That's a big pay cut back in the day.
Really think if he does good this year, Notre Dame's just licking the chops saying.
I think they're already licking their chops. I think right now they see a Catholic kid with a Catholic family.
Irish Catholic boy there.
Yeah, he got it. Yeah. I mean, Christ almighty, you went to DeSales. You don't get more Catholic than that around Columbus. So, I mean, you got good fellas and Catholics, and that's what DeSales is, bro. And, hey, he's a perfect fit. If he gets it, I'm so happy for that dude. He deserves it. He deserves it 110%. So,
yes, he does.
My final 4, I didn't even really write it down because I wanted to do this spontaneously. I love Luke. I think they're in trouble. I really do on Saturday, and I don't know why I feel like that. I just feel like it's been too perfect, and I think they're already looking ahead to the playoffs. And, oh, God, who are we going to get? We're going to get Michigan, Bama, Georgia. I think they're already there, and they can't be because, like we said, you can't really overlook anybody. Houston, if I remember right, has a vaunted offense. Like they drop numbers at the, alarming old whack rate. So
it is the fun and gun. You're right.
Yes. I'm just kind of worried about them. And I think if they don't win, then I think Oklahoma State sneaks in if they beat Baylor. But the chaos theory in me wants to see some crazy crap happen. I really do. I want to see Baylor beat Oklahoma State because they're a good team. Baylor's really good.
I think they'll smash Oklahoma State. I don't think Gundy has it. I don't
see
think
that's I watched Baylor pick apart a really good BYU team this year, and I was like, dang, these kids can fly. I mean, they fly.
It reminds me of when what was it, RGB? Was it RGB3 or whatever?
Yeah,
when he was there. It's
RG3.
Right. The whack is back. The whack is back. I mean,
no, I totally agree. So it should be fun. Me and Bryce do have tickets for Saturday, so we will try to make another memory here, another good one at Lucas Oil. But again, I want to thank my co-host, Mr. Chad 44 Mag Hickam. That's his new name, folks. That's what I'm calling him now. For coming along on this 2-piece documentary with me. This is great. Oh God. I can't even talk. Our producer just put something up that was rude. Freaking rude. I just want you to know that
I had to do it.
Put up here, need directions since it's your first one. No, Kyle, I'm good. You need my question is, Do you need a comfort dog, a safe space, anything like that? Therapy? Anything?
No, I'm just wearing black like our co-host here.
I see that.
In mourning.
Everybody's in black, and it's not for the alternate Buckeye jersey. I got
That's
it.
right.
All right.
No. This was I did 40 minutes on a freaking elliptical so I can keep my mind off that loss. I sweated my what off. So but you're right. Absolutely. I'm gonna tell you this right now. It's sour. It's gonna be a sour 365 days. But I'm gonna tell you this. If it was a time that needed to happen, it was now for Ohio State.
Couldn't agree more. It's been too easy for Day. It has been.
It has. And you know exactly where I'm going with this. It's all going to be Ryan Day now. And if Jimmy Crum was alive, holy shit.
Well, first off, we'd be blind by his beautiful taste in jackets. Between him and Gary Brusco in Walnut Springs, I mean, those two should have started their own fashion lines. So, anyways, I really do appreciate you, Chad. It's been a blast. As far as my final score in the championship game, I agree with Chad. I just don't think Iowa can score on this defense. If Ohio State's offensive line had trouble with those two, get ready, Iowa. You're going to see a nightmare coming. 97 in Ojabo, they're on their way. They're pissed. So I can see this being a 17-point game real quick. I could see it being 24-7. I just don't think Iowa can score. And I think Michigan is hitting stride right now. McNamara is looking so sharp lately. Everybody complains about him in Michigan. Let me tell you something. He is built exactly like Brian Griese. His job is to manage a game and to do things correctly. That is his job. If you don't like it, too bad. We ran for 300 yards on Ohio State. That's what we're going to do, or we lose.
He reminded me of that field general. And if he's if this was his first one, imagine what he's going to do when he gets more behind
more
him.
Comfortable in this. Yep. And I'll tell you what, as much as I hate the JJ switch, they used him perfectly. When they did that play action, you guys all bid up, one play, 38 yards or 40 some yards. That's how you use them. But don't do it in the red zone. That's all I ask you, Jimmy. Don't do it in the red zone. All right, guys. Well, we will be back next week. Next week, I believe we are going to go ahead and have my main man. I call him Wrecking Ralph, but we're not allowed to use that. So Ranting Ralph will be back next week. I don't know what we are going to probably get into the sports payment and the financial side of athletics in general now that they've opened that up. And just a teaser on that, if you didn't see today, real quick, I want to throw this in. If you didn't see today, UConn's girl, the freshman that tore it up last year that everybody knows, became the first female partner for Gatorade. So talking about a contract.
There you go.
I mean, 19 years old and she's Gatorade, probably 100 million easy right there. So there you go. Also want to go ahead and again, guys, reach out, take a look at Chad's gym site, the www.hickhamsgym.com. They have some killer shirts. I'm telling you, man, if you got any Irish in your blood, you're going to love this shirt. And we'll go ahead and leave you from there. Till next time, guys, I will give you a couple shout outs, some videos from Lucas Oil. Go Blue, and have a good one. This has been the You Don't Know Jack Shit Show. Bye-bye.
You have just been schooled by Jack Shit, the show that brings you rants, raves, and realities. If you haven't done so already, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share. And for the love of God, hit that bell so you will be notified of future episodes. On behalf of Rick, the Vanilla Gorilla, and Ranting Ralph, I'm John Porta, saying you now know Jack Shit.